Let's take an example, for example, of violence. We are violent people. We may have a quiet life. You may not quarrel with your wife and husband, which is rather rare. But deeply, we are violent people. Anger, aggression. Violence isn't merely physical action. Violence is part of imitation, conformity. And we have its opposite, non-violence. And in this country, they have talked a lot about non-violence. And in the recent wars that you have had in this country, there isn't one person, I was told, who stood up against war. But that's irrelevant. What's important is it possible to understand the whole nature of violence and be free of it, and not pursue non-violence? You understand? Are we meeting each other? Yes? I'm violent, suppose. The speaker has been only once angry. Sounds rather strange. And at that moment, when he was angry, it seems so absurd, so silly to be angry about something. And when you see the stupidity of anger, it's gone. You don't try to control it. You don't try to suppress it. You see the absurdity of getting angry about anything. And that's the end of it. You think about this. To observe, to be aware, to give your full attention that you are angry. At that moment, you see the whole nature of anger. So, violence, for example, what is violence? It's a fact. The non-fact is non-violence. Right? Would you agree to that? The pursuit of non-violence, which may take all your life, and in the pursuit of that ideal, you are all the time being violent. You try to control it, you try to suppress it, you act upon it. But you are part of that violence. And you, when you get angry, you are part of that anger. You are anger. When you are greedy, that feeling is not separate from you. Right? You are that. When we try to suppress or analyze or control, you separate yourself from the fact and then try to dominate it or suppress it and all the rest of it. But one realizes you are that. When one realizes, when I realize completely that I am violent, then I remain with that fact. I don't pursue stupidly the idea of non-violence. It's a fact, I'm violent, mad, angry, brutal. And that's a fact. And I realize there is no violence separate from me. I am violence. As I am angry, I am competitive, ambitious, ruthless, and so on. And also, I imitate, I conform. That's part of anger, violence. So, the observer who says, I am violent, the observer is part of that. So there is no contradiction